Hello, good morning, everybody. My name is James Garcia, and I'm here today to talk to you guys about T cell therapy. More specifically, CAR modified T cell therapy. Now, you may ask yourself, what is CAR modified T cell therapies? Well, CAR stands for chimeric antigen receptor. But before I get into detail about the T cell therapy itself, I first like to introduce to you a patient by the name of Emily Whitehead. Now, Emily Whitehead was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia just 5 weeks after her 5th birthday on, on May 28, 2010. Now, what is acute lymphoblastic leukemia? Now, acute lymphoblastic leukemia is a type of blood cancer that affects the lymphocytes. It's a type of cancer which affects the bone marrow that makes too many immature lymphocytes. Now, leukemia may also affect red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Now, before I get into how it attacks the immune system, I'd like to give you guys a brief anatomy on the bone of the bone. Now, the anatomy of the bone. The bone is made up of compact bone, spongy bone, and bone marrow. Compact bone makes up the outer layer of the bone. Spongy bone is found mostly at the ends of the bones and contains bone marrow. Red bone marrow. Bone marrow is found in the center of most bones and has many blood vessels. There are two types of bone marrow, red and yellow. Red marrow contains blood stem cells that become red blood cells, white blood cells, or platelets. Yellow bone marrow is mostly made up of fat. In a healthy child, the bone marrow makes blood stem cells or immature blood cells that become mature blood cells over time. A blood stem cell may become a myeloid stem cell or a lymphoid stem cell. The myeloid stem cell becomes one of three types of mature blood cells: red blood cells, platelets, or white blood cells. A lymphoid stem cell becomes a lymphoblast cell, and then one of three types of lymphocytes, which are white blood cells, B lymphocytes, T lymphocytes, and natural killer cells. As we can see in this chart right here, the blood cells development and a blood stem cell goes through several steps to become a red blood cell, platelet, or a white blood cell. In a child with too many stem cells become lymphoblast B cells. Lymphoblast become lymphoblast B lymphocytes, and T lymphocytes. These cells are cancer, leukemia cells. How does this happen is by causing a damage to the DNA that increases signal for production of lymphoblast cells and also interrupts signaling that controls the lymphoblast growth. United States alone, there's over 6,000 Americans affected by acute lymphoblastic leukemia per year. There's also seen high rates in Italy and Costa Rica, but it's truly all over the world. It's an impact all over the world. So, Emily Whitehead had many treatment options available to her. She decided to go with chemotherapy, but there was also surgery, radiation therapy, hypothermia, stem cell transplant, photodynamic therapy, lasers and cancer treatment, and blood production and donation and transfusion. Now, she was supposed to get a chemo treatment for 26 months, and doctors gave her a 85 to 90% chance of being cured. But on October 6, 2011, she relapsed and her chances went down to 30%. She then received aggressive chemotherapy on January 2012 and was scheduled for a bone marrow transplant in February 2012. But she then again relapsed on February 4th, 2012, 2 weeks before her transplant. Doctors tried more chemo to try to get her back into remission, but it didn't work. And the doctor said she would not get better. But in In April 2012, she enrolled in a phase 1 clinical trial at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. This was the clinical trial for the CAR T-cell therapy, CAR modified T-cell therapy. And so now we can get into what CAR modified T-cell therapy is. Well, CAR modified T-cell therapy is a type of immunotherapy. Immunotherapy is a type of therapy that uses your own body's immune system to fight cancer. And to explain what CAR modified T-cell therapy, I have a little short brief video that kind of walks through how